This is Hashtag History, episode 105. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Leah, and I finally got my shit together long enough to research my takeover episode for season 11.
It's perfect timing. You're going to very shortly say what you're talking about.
Totally, yeah.
But I am actually glad that
It's in mid-season.
It's mid-season. Yeah. Number one, just because it's good. Different change up in voice mid-season. But also, I learned a little bit about her on my trip.
No, you did. You were in Bavaria.
I was in Bavaria only 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, and I would not have known about her except that I just went on this trip.
Yeah.
So I'm glad. Perfect timing. Everything aligned.
Everything was meant to be.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So today, we will be learning about an infamous, mysterious character from history, Lola Montez. Lola Montez was an Irish dancer and actress who became famous in the mid-19th century as a Spanish dancer, among many other pursuits, one of which landed her as the lover of an actual Bavarian king.
Love this.
Yeah. So Lola's story comes with its fair share of controversies, especially when it comes to who the hell she actually was, what her true background was, and most of this controversy and confusion actually came directly from the source herself.
Oh, I love this. This is a novel.
Yeah. She fanned the flames of her own infamy, further propelling herself into the spotlight, her absolute favorite place to be. And as Ralph Friedman, a historian whom I believe is from Grass Valley, which will come up again later, and which is near us here in Sacramento, as he put it, quote, "She changed her background to suit the occasion, and there were many occasions to suit."
That actually already gave me goosebumps. I love this. I'm so excited.
Yeah, we love that for her.
We do.
We will be getting into Lola and her pretty wild antics and adventures. But before that, let's get wild with a cocktail.
Let's do that. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Leah.
And this is Hashtag History,
the podcast for both history nerds and history haters alike,
where we dive into history's greatest stories of controversy, conspiracy, and corruption. So, as always, we need to thank this week's cocktail sponsor. And I'll be honest, right as you got your shit together, I lost mine because I think I mixed things up here. I think I may have accidentally credited this week's cocktail sponsor with too many cocktails, but it's worth it because that cocktail sponsor is Miss Krista, who generously sponsored 3 cocktails this season. Like I said, I got things a little mixed up, and I think I've now credited her with 4. But again, she deserves the extra credit because she's so incredibly supportive of the podcast.
Yeah, 3, 4, what's the difference?
What's the difference? So thank you extra to Krista, and we will be back to our well-organized cocktail sponsorships next week.
Well-organized.
No promises, but... yeah, no promises. Because I know that today's story is rooted in Bavaria, which, like I said, I was just there like a week and a half ago. I had to choose a traditional Bavarian drink. And I actually did try something pretty similar to this when I was in Munich just recently. Mm-hmm. So this drink, it's called a Radler. Have you ever heard of it?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So for those that don't know, I'm going to tell you really quickly what's in it. We'll try it out, and then I'll tell you the history. So basically, it's equal parts sparkling lemonade and like a German lager, and that's it.
Yeah.
All right, let's try.
Oh my God, she filled up these glasses.
They're
let me tell you.
Scary full. Cheers. What do you think?
Refreshing, lovely, summery, Bavarian.
And I love that you had these big like beer mug glasses.
Yeah.
They're
biggest.
Perfect. They're giant. It's huge. So let me do just a little history on the Radler because it's a very popular drink in Germany. One of the main reasons for that is more so because it's refreshing than it is alcoholic. You still get the taste of alcohol, but the actual concentration of it's very low. And that's where its history comes from. The word Radler actually translates to cyclist because this here was a drink that cyclists taking day trips up the mountains outside of Munich would enjoy. They'd still get, that little taste of beer, but mostly it was just refreshing and it didn't inhibit their cycling performance.
Yeah, like it definitely tastes like beer, but it's not heavy.
Not at all.
It's just refreshing.
It's very refreshing.
Yeah.
I love it. And for anyone that doesn't know how to make like sparkling lemonade, I made it myself.
Oh.
It's not difficult. It's make lemonade, equal parts lemonade and soda water.
Oh.
That's it. And it is exactly what you said. It's just like that little taste of beer, but not to where you're going to get drunk or tipsy or anything.
Even how big these mugs are.
It's really just the taste.
Yeah. I don't feel like I'm going to get tipsy off of it.
What would you rate this one?
8.5.
I'll go 8.5 too.
Yeah.
I think because I was just in Munich drinking beer. Part of it's the like...
Her palate has elevated.
Oh, yeah, but no, that isn't what I was going to say. I was going to say my palate is exactly the same. No, I haven't evolved in any way whatsoever. No, I was going to say part of that rating is the memories, like having this giant beer mug and it just being refreshing on a hot day.
Yeah.
I got to do that a lot in Munich. So this is a fun memory for me.
Love it.
All right.
Good timing, too.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
It's like we planned this.
Weird.
Which we did not.
We did not.
It's perfect timing.
Okay. So Lola. Lola was born, well, not Lola. Her given name was Elizabeth Rosanna Gilbert, but during her early life, she actually went by Eliza. Little Eliza was born into an Anglo-Irish family, the daughter of her namesake, Elizabeth Eliza Oliver, and Edward Gilbert. Her mother, Eliza, was an illegitimate child of Charles Silver Oliver, a member of Parliament. And while Mother Eliza's lineage was not legitimate, her father, so Eliza / Lola's grandfather, took care of Mother Eliza and her siblings, and she was considered well off, well educated, and actually lived in a castle called Castle Oliver.
Okay.
Mother Eliza met Ensign Edward Gilbert, a somewhat lowly soldier in the 25th Regiment, and they hit it off. They were quickly married, and less than a year later, little Eliza was born in February of 1821. But even something as basic as her actual birthday has been questioned.
Of course.
Which we will get to later.
Oh, okay. I was going to assume it's just because all women don't have birth dates until their birth date is their marriage date, their wedding date.
Yeah.
When they are aligned with a male counterpart is when their life begins.
Yeah.
No?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Her gravestone stated she was born in Limerick on June 23rd, 1818, whereas her baptismal record stated she was born in Grange, Ireland on February 17th, 1821. And of course, Lola herself told many tales about where and when she was born that completely contradicted both of these dates and places. Eliza and her young family went to India, I believe because her father, Edward Gilbert, was stationed there, and he very quickly died of cholera after their arrival. Being the young, hip 19-year-old widow she was, Mother Eliza married a lieutenant in the British Army, Patrick Craigie. Concerned about her already obviously wild antics as a child, Craigie decided to send little Eliza back to England for school, where she stayed with his family in Scotland while she earned her education.
We simply cannot be bothered with these children.
Yeah, like, too much for me.
Too much.
While at school, Eliza quickly became known as the weird girl from India who liked to make mischief. According to one report, quote, the peculiarity of her dress and the eccentricity in her manners served to make her an object of curiosity and remark, end quote. Couple this with her wild behavior. There's even a report that she ran through the Scottish streets naked. Cold.
Yeah, that's cold.
And it was clear that Scotland clearly wasn't calming her down as intended, so she was moved once again, this time to Sunderland, England, to stay with Patrick Craigie's sister, who was running a boarding school at the time. But once again, her temper and her wild temperament got her kicked out of this school and moved once again to a school in Bath for, quote, a more sophisticated education, end quote.
That's a rough childhood.
Yeah, so she's just being bounced around. People can't really understand or handle her.
Yep.
And she had a temper. And speaking as someone who also has a temper, but clearly not as bad as she did, she, like, there's some things we'll get into with that she was fiery.
Ooh,
yeah.
In a not particularly good way.
No, not kind.
Yikes.
In a not good way. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, this part becomes a bit muddy because literally every single one of my sources said something different about this part of her life, which isn't surprising in the least, given what we already know about her. So here's my best guess and kind of what I've strung together. But please know you might read something different. This might not be 100% accurate, and I just want to be upfront about that.
Yeah.
So once out of school, around age 16, her mother was planning to marry her off to a 60-year-old judge, or perhaps one of his children. There's some confusion there. And Eliza just didn't realize she thought she was being married to a 6-year-old, but was actually being married to like a 30-year-old dude. So either way,
she's
only
being married 30 at 16?
Yeah.
So much better.
So she quickly eloped with a young lieutenant named Thomas James in 1837 and went with him to India. Their relationship quickly fizzled out, though, as Eliza put it, quote, runaway matches like runaway horses are almost sure to end in a smash-up, end quote. Some reports say that James left Eliza for another woman while in India. Others say she simply didn't like the dude. Either way, Eliza ditched him and returned to England alone at the age of 20. While en route back to jolly old England, Eliza took an interest, if you know what I mean, in another lieutenant named Charles Lennox, who was nephew of the Duke of Richmond. They were not discreet about their relationship while on board the ship back to England, with some reports even saying fellow passengers would walk by Eliza's cabin with the door wide open and catch a glimpse of the couple doing it.
Oh my God.
After landing in London, word of their tryst quickly got back to her husband in India, and he quickly filed for divorce on the grounds of adultery. While the divorce was ultimately granted, the court also determined that neither Eliza or Thomas James could remarry while the other was still alive.
Oh.
So she's like 20 at this point and told, you cannot marry.
Wow.
Yeah. So this scandal left Eliza in a really tough situation.
Yes.
A woman of her status and education at this time was really expected to marry and live her life as a wife. That's what she knew how to do and what was expected of her.
Even, I mean, you know, the like hardcore feminist in me, even I am having a hard time envisioning a woman
at
in this time period.
In that situation.
That is not allowed to align herself with a male counterpart.
Yeah.
Like how you don't hear about that often because it wasn't common.
Yeah. So Eliza didn't know any trades. She couldn't remarry. So she was left with two options, really. Courtesan or showbiz. Da-da!
Da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Start spreading the news. That could go on for a long time. It's actually really fun.
Okay, so for some time, she supported herself through the generosity of interested men. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, super vague.
Yeah.
No idea what you mean there.
One of whom reportedly funded a trip to Spain for her.
How can I get this generosity?
I think you know how.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I don't know. You were vague. Please explain.
While in Spain, it is suggested that she took some Spanish dance lessons, learned a couple Spanish phrases, bought some cute Spanish outfits, and returned to London, not as Eliza Rosanna Gilbert, but as Maria Dolores Porres y Montez, a.k.a. Lola Montez.
She reinvented herself.
Yes, she did. So now we're going to take a look at a photo, and I just want you to describe
Lola or Elizabeth or she's beautiful.
Yeah.
She has very pale skin but dark features, like dark thick eyebrows, dark hair, but very pale.
Yeah.
Conventionally attractive.
Yep. Big eyes.
Big lips.
Yep.
Narrow nose. She's very pretty.
Yeah. So her London debut in 1843 was sold as Lola Montez, the Spanish Dancer.
Nice.
Where she did something vaguely resembling a Spanish folk dance. But unfortunately for Lola, she was quickly recognized by audience members, and was forced to take her show on the road to somewhere where she had a little less notoriety.
Sure.
Because she was tied to this scandal, in London.
Yeah.
She ended up in Germany, where she had some less than impressive performances. One Berlin critic said of her performance, quote, her beauty is beyond any criticism.
Okay.
Her dancing, however, was no dancing at all, but a physical invitation.
Oh.
End quote.
Yikes. That one hurts.
So while in Berlin, she was quite the topic of scandal and controversy. Most men, unsurprisingly, loved her for her beauty and wit and, quote, inviting dancing. One such man was famous Hungarian composer Franz Liszt, who used his connections in the theatrical and musical scene in Paris to secure her a role in the opera. So I just want another photo for you to describe here.
Oh, she's very pretty. She's very cute. She's dressed in a beautiful lacy dress that she's holding out and displaying. She looks like an actress or a dancer, a performer in one way or another.
Yeah. So a couple things to note for this photo. It's obviously like a performance picture, right?
Yes, it's a posed
photo. Looks like a photo you and I might have taken for dance class. You know what I mean? Our recital photos.
100%. In fact, I'm confident I have a very similar picture holding out a tutu. Yep.
So the dress in particular is what I want to call attention to.
Okay.
This was at the time a very like Spanish kind of style dress. And she's pulling it up and she is showing those legs.
Okay.
And that is not something that women generally did at this time.
Got it.
Even when performing.
Okay, got it. She was holding it up, and the way that the bottom skirt has lace all the way across the hem is see-through. So you can see up to her knees.
Yeah.
Which, I can see what you're saying. That's not common or typical at this time.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, her Paris ballet debut was even less well received than her London and Berlin ones, with one newspaper mockingly reporting that her beauty was, quote, merely an initial advantage. It has to be justified with talent, end quote.
Oh.
However, she would eventually gain the attention and affection of French newspaper owner Alexandre Dujarrier, who assisted Montez in revitalizing her career with positive reviews in his newspaper, La Presse.
That's a good friend.
Yeah. Eliza eventually made her way back to Germany in 1846, this time to Munich, where she caught the attention of Ludwig I, King of Bavaria.
Ooh.
And just a note, he was actually grandfather of Mad King Ludwig II, who I did a Hasty History episode on.
Yes, and
back when.
I have not told you this yet, because this is the first time we've seen each other since I came back from my Europe trip.
Yes.
But while we were in Bavaria, we did not get to see the more infamous castle, the
Neuschwanstein.
The Neuschwanstein castle. It's so difficult for me to say. We did not get to see that one, but we did get to see Linderhof, which was very cool. And on the way to that excursion that we were doing, I pulled up your Hasty History episode and was like listening to it on my little earbuds while we were riding on the bus to the castle. And it totally helped. It reminded me of all the cool, neat things about him.
Yeah.
So I'm familiar with Ludwig II because of your episode. And because I got to do a tour of one of his castles. But actually, when we were in Munich, we had this really amazing tour guide that was like on our bus with us and kind of showing us things. And we did get to step out of the bus for a brief period of time and check out. We didn't get to go inside, but we got to walk the grounds and the gardens of one of the castles of Ludwig I. Did you?
Yeah, we actually went inside. It was. There's a photo that I don't know if you remember of. It's like an entire facade, like fountain made out of shells. It's insane. Maybe I'll try to find it.
Yeah.
This palace is insane.
We only got to do the gardens, which I loved. It had all the like Grecian gods and stuff. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, timing is everything. Because now that you're even bringing Ludwig I and or II up, now I have more context.
Exactly. So how does a mediocre dancer gain the attention of a literal king, you ask?
That is a question I had.
I'm asking because I would like to know.
Because we would like to know. Asking for a friend.
It is rumored that during their first meeting, Ludwig asked Lola, nature or art, while pointing at her chest, essentially asking if her boobs were real or nah.
Is that how people say it? Can they do that now? Nature or art?
Yeah. So Lola quickly and very wittily responded by taking a pair of scissors, or in some reports, simply using her hands to rip open her bodice and show him. Lola quickly became Ludwig's official lover, was made Countess of Landfeld, granted Bavarian nationality, and bestowed a large allowance, like larger than his cabinet members' salaries.
So, nature?
Either way, he dug it.
Whatever it was, he clearly was in favor.
Yeah. So her arrogant manner and temper-fueled outbursts did not win her the affection of the Bavarian people, however. There's reports of her at this time, obviously, main way to get somewhere is to ride a horse. And apparently she was a very good horseback rider. And you had a horse whip, to
Yeah.
To just
carry the horse along, make it move.
She would like whip people with this horse whip. Like, and it wasn't like a one-time occurrence. It apparently happened frequently. Like people just made her mad and she would just like whip them with a horse whip.
Okay, that's awful.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So despite Ludwig being quite taken with Lola and her wild behavior, his people hated her for it. She was caught multiple times visiting other men in the middle of the night. She got into multiple verbal and physical fights in public. It was just a sloppy, hot mess of a time for Bavaria. Coupling this with her obvious inappropriate influence over Ludwig's politics and ruling, the Bavarian people were not happy. Advisors began resigning from their positions in protest, eventually leaving literally no one on Ludwig's cabinet. He had no one on his cabinet. In February of 1848, a mob formed and drove Lola Montez out of the capital. Shortly thereafter, Ludwig I abdicated the throne, mostly because of his people's pure hatred of Lola and her influence over him. Lola lost her Bavarian citizenship as a result of this.
So would you say in your research he wouldn't have abdicated the throne minus her influence?
It seemed, from what my research, which was mostly focused on her, it seemed like she was the big problem.
The big reason.
Yeah. It seemed like, I think he realized he made a mistake in not necessarily being with her, but in letting her influence him. Yeah. And so he was like, obviously I'm not the right person for this.
Because my judgment's
not great. And he still loved her. Like, absolutely.
Hey everyone, we are so excited to share with you about Macy's Wine Shop. Yes, it is that Macy's. Macy's has launched their very own wine shop, which includes full-size, delicious wines curated by their experts coming from renowned wine regions, which include our home state of California and beyond. You can select exactly what type of wine you are looking for. Do you love reds? Do you love whites? Maybe a little bit of both? You can make these personalized selections quickly and easily through the Macy's Wine Shop. What makes Macy's Wine Shop better than any other online wine club is that they deliver quality wines at unmatched price points, all within 1 to 3 business days. Seriously, I ordered my wine on a Monday and had already received them by that following Wednesday. And with our link, you get $50 off a 6-bottle box of Macy's award-winning wines, which is a $95 retail value. Head to the show notes of this episode to access the discount code, or you can head to our Instagram to find the link in our bio. Cheers!
Unable or likely unwilling to provide documentation of her birth name and birthplace, Lola struggled to gain a visa or passport to other European countries. Ludwig was still giving her money at this time, but was unable to pull any strings for her politically now that he had abdicated.
Yeah.
So what does one do when in a sticky situation like this?
Align yourself with another male counterpart?
Yes, this time she married a wealthy British dude, of course.
Of course, we got to switch up the accents.
Lola married George Trafford Heald to gain British citizenship and a little cash. Ludwig was pissed when word got back to him about this, as her allowance that he was giving her was contingent apparently on the condition that she couldn't marry.
Yeah, she's not allowed to get married, right?
Well,
court order.
Yeah, court ordered from England, but then you're the king's lover. Like, you're not allowed to align yourself with another dude.
Yes. He obviously sacrificed a lot by, I keep using the word alignment, but like by aligning himself with her, he lost a lot.
Yeah. So Lola's new husband, George, his family was also pissed about the union and quickly uncovered Lola's true identity, Eliza Gilbert, a disgraced divorcee who legally couldn't marry while her ex-husband was still living. A bigamy charge was brought against Lola, so her and dear old George had to flee England to escape the charges. They resided for a time in France and Spain, but unsurprisingly, Lola's infidelity and honestly erratic and temper-fueled behavior caused the marriage to fall apart. Still married to George Heald in 1851, she made off for the USA to make a new start.
Welcome.
Yeah. Welcome to the USA. It's a party.
It's something. That you made the conscious decision to come here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh,
okay.
It was a different time, clearly.
Yeah.
Lola spent the next couple of years performing Lola Montez in Bavaria, a play about herself throughout the eastern United States. In 1853, she ended up making her way to San Francisco here in California.
Yes.
Lola's notoriety caused a flurry in the city, apparently. She very quickly appeared in a play aptly named, quote, School for Scandal, where the theater was allegedly able to charge 10 times the normal price of what she was charging for her East Coast performances.
Because everything's more expensive on the West Coast?
And because the scandal and the notoriety that came with her.
Wow.
Yeah. She was, I mean, imagine if someone who was the mistress of a Bavarian king came to Sacramento, that would be sold
more
out.
to see her.
Yeah.
You're right.
So you can definitely say she found her adoring audience in SF.
About time.
Yeah. Lola's acting was relatively well received, but what brought the people into the theater was her infamous spider dance.
Okay.
Lola's spider dance was a kind of bastardized version of the tarantella, which is a southern Spanish dance. Wearing flesh-colored tights and layers of multicolored petticoats, which you described in that photo, Lola played a country maid who discovered that spiders had gotten into her clothes. Oh no. She would shake and shimmy and stomp said fictitious spider out of her clothes in a very, quote, alluring manner for her mostly male audience. And this is actually a dance that she has been performing. This is what got her famous and notoriety, but she continued it. Really? And she kind of like included it in this play that was about her life now.
I 100% can see it. Like, slowly peeling off articles of clothing or just like moving the boobies around while you're trying to shake off spiders. I just envisioned if it was like me trying to get a spider off, like screaming. No one would ever pay to see it because it's one of those things that you would feel uncomfortable watching.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
They would pay $-
Yeah.
to see
you need to pay
that.
me
you
to
need
watch
to, in fact,
that.
pay me. Because it's traumatic. It's a traumatic experience.
Yeah. So this dance definitely drew in the crowds.
Okay. Opposite of what I was describing.
As James Varney writes in, quote, Lola Montez, The California Adventures of Europe's Notorious Courtesan, she reveled, quote, in attentions lavished on her by San Francisco's panting men, end quote.
Ugh.
Yeah. So she gained the attention of yet another newspaper man during this time, Patrick Hull. She married him and moved with him to Grass Valley, which I mentioned at the beginning of this episode. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump away from where we are here in Sacramento.
It is.
In fact, during this time, Lola appeared on stage here in Sacramento. So when someone allegedly laughed during this performance of her spider dance here in Sacramento, Lola lectured the audience for some time and then stormed off stage.
She's a very confident person.
Oh, yeah. Despite divorcing from Hull.
Oh, they didn't. It
didn't last. Oh, yeah, that was it.
Oh, okay.
Lola remained in Grass Valley for a couple of years.
That's cool.
In fact, the property she owned there is now apparently a historic landmark in the small town. We should go check it out. Day trip.
We definitely should.
I have a picture here for you to describe. It's a little small.
It's very cute. It looks kind of like an older schoolhouse where they have those beautiful porches that wrap all the way around the house. I love those.
Yeah.
We must go.
Yeah, and you can see there's a sign because it's now a museum. Day trip to Grass Valley. Woo! Woo! Despite this time in Lola's life sounding all quiet and rather picturesque, at least for Lola's standards, she continued her erratic behavior by continuing her apparently very common behavior of whipping her critics with a horsewhip, purchasing and soon thereafter selling a grizzly cub for her own entertainment, and the list goes on. In 1855, Lola once again wanted to take her show on the road, this time in Australia. That was probably one of the last places she hadn't dug her claws into.
And also, I mean, if she's doing her spider dance there, their spiders are much larger. I feel the dance should be adapted to the climate.
Yeah, it'll be a lot more aggressive.
Much more aggressive.
Yeah.
Perhaps her best performance ever. Because, wow.
I can assure you it was not her best performance ever.
I'm speaking too soon.
Yeah, because when she performed in Australia, she did perform a couple of sold-out shows in Sydney, but eventually gained some very negative attention from the press, with one article going so far as to say that her spider dance performance was, this is a direct quote, utterly subversive to all ideas of public morality, end quote. This review made a splash, and much of the public refused to attend the show. It started hemorrhaging money, so Lola, being who we now know her to be, disbanded the company that was touring with her and literally just ditched them with no way to get back to the US.
She's always out for herself.
Yeah. When the actors filed a lawsuit against her for this, saying it was in their contract that she would provide passage home, she fought the suit saying it was not filed against her in her real name and therefore was not legally binding. Another common thing she would do to get out of stuff like this is she would say, all legal proceedings need to go through my husband.
Oh my God,
and it's like, which one? Like, you don't have one. Yeah,
she's very clever.
After returning to the US, she failed to gain momentum in her theatrical career. So in 1857, she changed careers and became a lecturer instead. She must have gotten really inspired by that lecture she gave to the Sacramento audience.
Yeah, we must have taken it very well. Taking notes.
Yeah. I'm like, this is intriguing. She delivered a series of moral lectures in England and the US. One was called Gallantry, which was a criticism of the gallantry of men, including her former lover Ludwig. Her lecture titled, quote, Heroines and Strong-Minded Women of History was a criticism of the modern-day feminism movement, describing suffragettes as scolds and convention women and comparing them instead to historical warrior women and monarchs who were the true examples of women's strengths and abilities. She eventually did a lecture on the status of slavery, outlining slavery as a national sin, while also claiming that enslaved people on southern plantations were content and that slavery would just someday end on its own.
All right. I feel like the further we're getting this episode, the less I'm liking her.
Yeah, it's not one that it inspires necessarily.
I'm inspired by her confidence.
Totally.
And she's definitely clever.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, not the most likable person.
Certainly not.
Yeah. Montez went on to write her first of 3 books, which was a collection of all of these lectures that she gave, as well as an autobiography of her life. This autobiography took many liberties when it came to the truth, as you might imagine, and is often cited as the true source of a lot of that controversy and confusion that we still have about Lola's actual origins, her birthplace, and infamous stories about her.
She muddied the water herself.
She muddied that water. It also wasn't all that flattering to Lola, considering she herself was the one who wrote it.
How do you mean?
Like, it outlined all these horrible things she did.
She said those things.
She said those things.
Yeah.
She wrote it down in a book.
She didn't make herself look
She
good.
didn't do any favors for herself.
Got it.
Which is weird.
It is kind of weird because she obviously is not someone that shies from fabricating or swaying the truth a little bit, maybe to make herself sound better in some ways. So to have not done that in other ways is really interesting.
But what was interesting is, even though she did often obviously tell lies and not necessarily tell the truth about herself, it wasn't always in a favorable light. For instance, we'll get to this a little later, but one time she lied that she was older than she was.
That is so interesting.
Yeah. Which, not when she was 16 and pretending to be 20. No, it was later in life she lied about it. It doesn't make sense.
Delusional?
I don't know.
She did have a very, very, very rough childhood.
Yeah. In 1860, while in New York, Lola suffered a stroke. Some argue the stroke was caused by the malaria she pretty clearly suffered from her entire life, that they think she got while in India. Others attribute it to complications of syphilis, but most of this is speculation.
Yeah.
Either way, she seemed to be recovering until she caught pneumonia, and on January 17th, 1861, Lola Montez passed away at the age of 39.
She had this wild life all before the age of 40. I thought we were talking about a 60-something-year-old at this point.
She was not even 40. Or was she? We don't know.
Yeah, or was she? But still, we're talking about someone that hadn't even hit middle age, what we consider to be middle age nowadays. That's crazy.
Yeah. She was buried in Greenwood Cemetery in Brooklyn, New York, where her tombstone states, Miss Eliza Gilbert, so it said her real name, died 17th of January, 1861, age 42.
Age 42. Okay.
So even her gravestone, her tombstone contributes to the controversies surrounding her name and age.
Oh, God. She's fascinating.
Yeah. So I wanted to go and end this episode with kind of an overview and a quick recap of Lola Montez's legacy.
Okay.
So it has lived on long past her death in pop culture, musicals, songs, and more. I wanted to just outline and possibly play a couple examples for you all here.
Okay.
First, Montez has been cited by several writers as the inspiration for the character Irene Adler in the Sherlock Holmes series by Arthur Conan Doyle.
Okay.
She has not one, but 2 lakes in Tahoe National Forest named after her.
What?
There's Upper and Lower Lola Montez Lake. Yeah. And it's because she spent time in Grass Valley or whatever.
Oh my God. That's amazing. That's so close to us.
I know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. There are over 10 movies that I could find quickly with Lola Montez as the main or supporting character, many of which are actually called Lola Montez. There's multiple. A lot of them were like early cinema, films, like in the 30s, 40s. You may recognize this next one. The character Lola from the Broadway musical and movie Damn Yankees is apparently based on Lola Montez. Lola in the show is essentially a seductress on the devil's payroll, sent to seduce the main character, and sings and performs one of my favorite songs from the musicals, Whatever Lola Wants, which I want us to listen to just a snippet of here.
Please. I did not know that. That is so fascinating. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And then I wanted to end with a quote from our final example of Lola's legacy. There's a song called Lola Montez by, I think it's like a Swedish rock band called Volbeat.
Okay.
That somehow got into my husband's list of regularly played songs on YouTube Music. I don't know how it ended up there. And so I just, again, want to listen to a snippet of it. Okay. So it says, the chorus of that song goes, wherever she walks, she will be captivating all the men. Don't look in her eyes. You might fall and find the love of your life.
Oh, I love it.
Lola was a controversial character for sure, but no one can deny that she was a captivating character nonetheless.
And that her legacy has continued.
Yeah. I mean, there's like
for
rock
centuries.
songs written about her, this person that lived 100 years ago.
Oh,
yeah.
Anyways, I loved it.
That's it.
Thank you for sharing that. I feel like it's important to share stories of powerful, confident, inspiring women,
even if they're not necessarily likable or something you need to aspire to
be. Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's good. It's well-rounded. It's good to see that clever, confident women are not always nice women.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah,
and that those are still figures that we should recognize and know from our history. I loved it.
Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of #History. We will share the pictures that we discussed on the episode to our Instagram, and all sources used to put together this episode can be found on our website at #history-pod.com.
Make sure you check us out on social media. We are mostly entirely on Instagram. We're at #history_podcast. You definitely want to go there because that's where we post everything. We post our drink recipes. We post when we have new episodes. We post big announcements there. Speaking of social media, though, we do have a TikTok. It's all one word, #history. That's it.
We're on there. Yeah.
We're on there.
Subscribe to us on whatever podcast platform you use. Share about us with your family and friends, and then give us a rate and review.
And then we would love it so much if you joined us on Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you can help support our books and booze supply. You get access to some behind-the-scenes content, weekly #hangout episodes, and automatic 15% off all merchandise, and we mail you cards and stickers.
Yep.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Boo, boo, boo. I slapped down and yelled at the same time. Yeah, I should just slap myself. Okay.
All right.
Oh.
Merely an initial advantage. I'm about to burp. No, I'm not. It's fine. Sorry. Where is my mouse? What is happening there? Okay.